Okay, guys. So I haven't done one of these for a while, but I'm pretty excited to kick it off with my guest today, who you may recognize. I'm joined by the awesome Matt Murray, who you may have seen on Married at First Sight. But first things first, if you guys are looking for gossip, you can switch off now because you're not going to get any. We've got a bit of a different topic that we want to discuss today. And this one we're both pretty damn passionate about. Being guys that use the gym, both coaches, this is a huge topic. And we're really hoping that any of the lads watching this are going to take a lot away because there's a lot of points here that we want to dive into. So first things first, for those that don't know who you are, Matt, really quick introduction. Hit it.
I was never on TV. um, whether you've watched Married at First Sight or not, it's not really relevant. Like it's just been explained. But that is at the minute currently what I am known for. But most of my life and who I am is spent either coaching people, cutting hair, or talking to people about their problems. So I feel like that's the kind of road that we're going to want to go down. And it's nice to be here. It's nice to be able to have this conversation with another bloke who is open and able to talk about things in a manner which isn't trying to put any kind of negativity around it.
100%. So just quickly, that we met under rather random circumstances. So for the record, I don't usually watch shows. This is the last time I'm going to mention it, but I do not watch shows generally. My wife started watching it. I was like, do you know what? Hands up. I'm kind of getting into this. Anyway, so long story short, we were watching it one evening, and obviously the episode came on where you arrived. And I remember my wife said something like, "Oh, he's a big, confident dude." And I remember saying, actually, that would have come from somewhere. You don't normally get a dude that's worked on his physique like that. It's always come from somewhere. And we had like a brief chat about it. Anyway, so long story short, guys, I just moved to York very recently, and I went to get my hair cut. Turns out this guy owns a barbershop in York. And I'm sitting there and I'm getting my hair cut by one of your guys, lovely guy. And all of a sudden, you rock up. I'm like, hang on a minute. I'm pretty sure this dude's on my TV at the moment. We got chatting, and here we are. So, what we want to discuss today is yes, fitness, health, but more so how that affects our mental health. Now, just going back to that point, you have obviously worked on your physique over the years. I think we can agree you're a big dude, and I've seen some of your videos, a lot of your videos on Instagram. You're into calisthenics, and there's a hell of a lot of stuff that you do and have done over the years. But what is it that? How did you find fitness? What got you into fitness? Like right back to the start, the first time you decided to hit the gym, grab some weights, whatever.
Okay, yeah, well, a good question, very good question. So my usual answer and my usual response to that would be the usual response, which I'll get to. But if I actually think about it, my first encounter with it was I was quite a chubby kid at school, and I never really fit in. Like I didn't, and at the time that felt like a curse. And then there was a couple of TV programs that came on. There was Jump London and there was Jump Britain. So there was these guys parkouring all over these roofs, like backflipping French ninjas, and I was like, "What is going on with this? This looks insane!" So I just started jumping off buildings. But at this point, I knew nothing about diet and nutrition, but I could stand in backflip off a phone box. And then we fast forward a little bit to about 18, 19. I'd just come out at 19 and I'd just come out of the army on medical discharge. And a friend of mine was like, "Oh, I've got this steroid. Like, do you want to try it? And we'll go to the gym." And I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." So I started taking this Sitatestin. I was going to the gym, but again, mate, I was eating bird's eye frozen chicken fucking things out of the freezer. Do you know what I mean? Like I had no idea about nutrition at all. What really kicked me was when I got to about 22 years old. I was living down in Bristol, and to be honest with you, mate, I think I was sick of being cheated on. I needed something to release how I was feeling. And I was sick of being fat. I was sick of being out of shape. And I've always had this visualization of being this really in shape guy. Like I could envision the man that I wanted to be. And I was working with a colleague, a guy called Ryan, will not mind me mentioning his name. Really, really nice guy. and we went to jump in this outdoor swimming pool, and he was absolutely shredded out of his mind. He was, and I was like, "Fucking hell, lad!" I said, "Have you always looked like that?" And he went, "Mate, 9 months ago, you wouldn't recognise me." Sure enough, showed me a picture of him 9 months ago, mate, and he was massive. He was bigger than I was. Like he was, do you know what I mean? He was a round lad, and that there and then that moment, light switch came on. Started, I cut all carbohydrates out my diet, and it was all systems go. It was all systems go from there on out. I've never looked back.
So this is interesting, and the point you mentioned there, obviously, you had sort of like a, I guess you could say, role model, a bit of someone to look at and go, yeah, this can be achieved. Which I think most guys relate to that. Mine was, I've got to hold my hands up to this. There was that Ziz dude, you know, the guy with the dark spiky hair. He's an Aussie guy.
Yeah.
We used to watch that dude all the time, anyway. So the point is that yeah, we have idols, but you also mentioned how you wanted to attract the opposite sex. You know, you didn't want to get cheated on. Well, you were cheated on, and that's come from a painful place, of course. But for me personally, I couldn't talk to a woman to save my life. Like, I just couldn't. I had no confidence whatsoever. And fitness can often be, or health fitness, changing your body composition, often be the passport to many, many other things, to confidence, to self-belief, which unlocks other things in your life. So when we look at somebody's past and we go, this is where you might see how they are now, where they're at, but you don't see where they've come from, and actually how fitness has not just built them muscle or got them leaner or got them fitter or stronger. It's unlocked a hell of a lot more than that, which has completely transformed a life.
100%. I could not agree more with that. I think for me, it was, I thought I was already confident. I had no problem speaking to women, but I had to be the funny, stupid guy. Do you know what I mean? If I wanted to get laid, I needed to laugh your pants off, basically. That was the only way it was going to work. And then once I got myself into decent shape and I was physically able, it wasn't even about women. Like you just said then, it's a transferable thing. It's a massively transferable thing. You get yourself into shape, all of a sudden your confidence comes in, real confidence. Like, I've got this. I feel physically able. I can handle myself. My head feels clear. My sleep is better. My libido's better. Every single aspect of my life improved through finding fitness, even down to the foods, even this thing, drinking water, like the most simple thing on the planet that a lot of people still do not do, like, but don't understand why their brain's always foggy. It's foggy because you're dehydrated. Learning all of these little things. Yeah, they changed everything. I was a regional sales manager, but I was smashing it because I was just confident in what I was doing.
Yeah.
I'd been to the gym in the morning. I'd battered myself in the gym. I turned up to work in a suit. The suit felt good. It fit right. I felt good. Therefore, when I'm talking to you, that's going to be transferable.
Yeah, 100%. And even when life gets tough, because life can be incredibly tough. You know, we can all talk about past experiences and how they've, been very challenging to overcome. But in some respects, you can look at it as, well, if maybe you've got other things crumbling around you, it could be a relationship, whatever. If you're always working to build yourself up and to better yourself in the gym, you've always got that no one can fucking take away from you. Doesn't matter how shit other things get. If you are working on yourself, you're in that gym, you're looking after your nutrition, you've always got something. And that, for me, I've had times where business has been absolutely terrible. I've had times where there's been things going on in my personal life, past relationships. But like you said, getting up in the morning and getting that morning and getting work, they don't have to be. I've had some really pathetic workouts, that I look back and think probably could have trained a bit harder there, but it's not the point. For a lot of the time, it's in that gym, shifting a few pounds around, doing some sprint, whatever floats your boat kind of thing, so that you've already won the day in some respect, no matter how shit something else gets.
Well, yeah, because you showed up.
100%. And it's part of your identity as well. So when other things are trying to compromise your identity and going, oh, you're never going to be successful in your career, all this shit internal language that so many of us guys have, you'll never attract a great woman. It's like, well, actually, I can kind of fucking fight back against this because I've just got to bench press 50 kilos for 3 sets of 10 today. It just gives you that kind of head above water routine, as I call it, for life.
Yeah, another thing, mate, I couldn't agree more. And you just mentioned something there about, like, if everything else is crumbling, like, I don't think I've ever said it out loud before because it almost sounds pathetic, but let's go for it. But if I'm laying in bed at night and my head's spinning with everything that's going on, like, For example, whether I show it on the surface or not, I'm currently dealing with the fact that it's not going to be too long now until I lose my mother, right? And that shit sits in your head. It does, whether it's conscious or subconscious, at any part of the day, it's there. If I'm in bed at night, mate, and I'm sat and I've got all this stuff spiraling in my head, I start programming tomorrow morning's workout. And I'm thinking in my head, right, what am I training in the morning? Right, you've got legs in the morning, Matt. Right, do you want it functional or do you want it hypertrophy? Like, what you're looking for? Right, okay, so if I start, bam, I'm asleep, mate, because I'm just sat thinking about tomorrow's workout and I get myself excited for it. And then I want to go to sleep so that I can get up and I can get to the workout. And all of a sudden, all that stuff that's been trying to make its way in, it can't get in because I've moved it with my fitness, with my health.
Yeah. Yeah. The gym literally can be your sword and shield. If you look at it that simply, it can. You can fight things off. You can use it in that case as like a disruptor to go, when a devil wants to sit on your shoulder or something whispers in your ear and starts getting all that internal chatter that sparks that stress response. And this, again, without going into all the science, people forget that our stress response can be jacked up by thought alone. And that's quite a crazy thing to say. But, when you think, if we were, I always use this example, but if we were walking around at a shopping center and we heard gunfire, for example, our heart rate's going to go up, our blood pressure, our physical state is going to change like that straight away. Yeah. Now, we can trigger that same response from thinking about our boss being a twat, or a row with the missus, or, like you just described, with your mum. We can trigger those same responses. And if we've got something that can instantly, like a fire hose, come in and dampen that flame, then, fantastic. We absolutely can jack up the stress response from thought alone. And our thoughts can become our current being and current state. So trying to have control, you're never going to, not think about these things, because I do, I think, God, I've got a little boy 2 years old, and you think things go through my head. I think any new dad watching this, or dad in general, will relate. Things go through your head like, oh my God, what if this happens? What if that? I think, no, this is not welcome in my head right now. Let's go somewhere else,
Yeah.
And it's powerful, very, very, very powerful. So yeah, I think just throwing that out there, Matt, I think is such a big thing to do, because we all think about that. For those of us that have still got parents, mum or dad still left, or it could be grandparents, people are very close to, brothers, sisters. We've all got those people that we worry, we think about them not being there, and we all think, especially at night, it comes at night. Those demons do come at night. But like
do you remember the child? Sorry, I cut you off there. Do you remember the whole childhood thing about the monster under the bed?
Yeah.
There's a monster under your bed. It's like, I feel like that was an adult's way of warning that, like, one day there is going to be monsters when you get in bed.
Such a great thought. Yeah.
That's just come to me right now. Do you know what I mean? Is that like an adult's way of saying that? Because it is true. There is a monster under the bed. There's a monster under everyone's bed, whether you can see it yet or not. Yeah. And you're going to have to, at some point in your life, face that adversity. You're going to have to lose a loved one. You're going to have to, you know what I mean? You're going to go through these things. And it's the armory that you equip your mind with that's going to get you through them.
Yeah, 100%. And so all this stuff, for any guys, and anyone watching this, thinking, I get so worked up and I didn't think I'm normal. You are fucking normal, because we all think about this sort of stuff. But in terms of looking after your health and your fitness, if you've always got something there that can act as that distraction, that disruptor, that thing that makes you feel good and can instantly take you to another place mentally and go, even though these things are swarming my head, all these emotions swarming, I can always escape to something that makes me feel good, makes me feel grateful. Gratitude, extremely freaking powerful. But like you said, for you, what's my workout tomorrow morning? Something as simple as that. What am I going to train? What did I hit last time? Was there any room to maybe improve my form a little bit based on last time? All these little things, no matter how insignificant they might seem, that's not the point. It gives you something else to think about, something else to focus your mind on. The SAS talk about it, don't they? In most extreme hostile situations, focus your mind on something, one thing, just one thing, block out, focus on one thing. And it's a skill. It is something you need to train yourself to do. It's not easy. It's not easy.
I think that, again, depending on your circumstances right from childhood, depending on how your childhood was, depending on how your teenage years was, depending on how your early adolescence was, I feel like all of this has got a massive part to play on how much you're going to have in that itinerary when it comes down to needing to be able to use the power of your mind to help yourself. And I went through a period where I kind of looked at people and thought to myself, I'm listening to somebody explain a problem, for example, and I would look at them and I'd be like, how are you not handling that? But then after a little while, you realize that you can't teach a goldfish the same thing as a monkey, but also that person, sorry, better analogy. You've got a hamster and I've got a dog. Okay. Now, these are the only things that we have ever loved. And you lose your hamster and I lose my dog. And we're feeling the exact same amount of pain. But somebody from the outside can go, it's only a hamster, mate.
For sure. For sure.
You know what I mean? But you're still feeling exactly what I'm feeling because we've known no different. And I think it's understanding that everybody's path is different. But I do think a lot of the most interesting people I've met have faced the most adversity.
Yeah, 100%. And that actually leads me on to one of the points we're going to discuss today, which is that, you know, when you're in a gym, you will look around, and for a lot of people watching this, may hate the gym. That the gym intimidates you, and it's somewhere that you just can't stand going to because you think other people are watching you. They're looking at your form. They're looking at the size of you, you know, your body. And the reality is the biggest, scariest looking dudes, and I know you'd agree with me on this one, some of the biggest and scariest looking dudes in the gym are, first of all, the fucking nicest guys that you'll ever meet most of the majority of the time. But again, that's come from somewhere. I think of the biggest dude that I know, and I know his past, you know, I know what he's been through. And without that, would he be where? I no, 100% no. So, you know, for so many guys that you walk into, you know, Pure Gym, wherever your gym is, and even more so nowadays, which is, you know, it's actually a much, but because anyone in that gym that is seen to be belittling someone, putting somebody down, will be lynched by at least 5 dudes within seconds. And all of us guys now know how important it is. You know, we all know the stat, don't we? I mean, the biggest killer man under 45, that needs to change. But the gym environment for some is terrifying, and it shouldn't be. It absolutely shouldn't be. And it was for me back in the day.
I think I found it intimidating to start with the first time around, when I thought, oh, I'll just jump in the gym, because you're looking at, I don't think I found it intimidating. I've never been afraid of another man. Like I've never like in a physical sense, but their physiques would be intimidating. And I would be like, well, I'm never going to achieve that. And like, you instantly put this limiting belief in your mind, or he's on steroids, or he's been doing it for 5 years. Like, I can't think about 5 years in the future. I want to train chest today and have a chest tomorrow. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you fall in love with the process and you stop thinking about the end result, and you've got it. And now I walk into a gym and I see people exactly like what I was. And you can see them looking around and they're looking a bit, I don't really know what to do in here. And you don't know what to do anymore, though, because I don't know whether to be that guy that goes over and goes, yeah, mate, can I just show you how to do what you do in there? Or is that going to make them feel worse? Like it is like you just said then. Do you know what I mean? People can walk into a gym, they can feel intimidated. But I don't know, especially with my appearance, like whether me walking over to you in the gym, and I don't exactly look the friendliest in the gym either because I'm in my zone, and me coming over to you while you're trying to do a bloody barbell row where you're not over enough and you're not retracting your shoulders enough on the upwards motion, like, I'm like, dude, lift that bar up a little bit. Do I approach that or do I leave it? Like,
yeah, and I think, you know, one of the biggest things is vulnerability is a massive strength, you know, and again, for anyone watching this, you know, chances are you'll have a career, something that you're particularly good at, that a lot of other people may not be. And if someone come up to you and like you said there was like, oh, you need to do this, you should do this, or someone comes up to you and says, actually, I'm just going to put my hands up here, I've absolutely no idea what I'm doing, I'm actually a little bit nervous right now. Imagine that person come to you, you're going to probably have much more respect for that person for holding their hands up, being vulnerable, and going, mate, appreciate you being vulnerable, because it says a lot about you. And now I can help you. And I used to speak to a lot of people in the gyms, and the biggest, scariest dudes. Eventually I was like, there's probably a reason why he looks like that, and he's doing this kind of thing. So yeah, you know, vulnerability is a strength. I think one of the most important lines, you know, it absolutely is. And And it's the same thing like with the barbershop, for example. You know, when I was, I've got to say, it's probably early 20s, and my hairline started going back, and it was initially it was like, no, no, no freaking way, and it really bothered me. And it
Yeah.
was when I sat down and literally, I was terrified of the barber. You may not believe this, but I was. I didn't want to sit around a load of other lads, and I didn't want them, you know, looking at me and thinking, oh, what the hell's he going to get done? And cool, he's lost losing his hair early and that kind of thing. And I was like terrified of sitting down in that barber's chair until one day I went, you know what? Fuck this, just own it, just wear that shit, just feel the fear and do it anyway, kind of thing. And she said, right, just as you can see, like my hair's going back now. I really don't know what to do. Like, what's going to be the best kind of look for me? What stuff? And I just laid it out. And guess what? You'll know this better than anyone. The barber went, okay, mate, absolutely. I've got loads of guys that say, what we look to do is do this. Everything just
disappeared,
washed away after that.
Yeah.
Because vulnerability was my weapon there that I was so scared of using, you know?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, I know more than, well, not more than you because it's your journey, but I know that exact situation more so as a barber who sits there, and I'll stand there and some guys will come in and I'll be like, what do you want? And he'll turn around and ask his missus, and I'll be like, right, get out. No. You lost your spot. No, it's not her choice. What do you want? No, but some guys, they come in and they'll express that, and they'll be like, look, mate, I'll be completely honest with you. I've been to a few barbers, but I don't really know what to do with my hair. I don't know what's going to suit my face. I don't know what's going to suit. And I'm like, right, yes, leave it with me. Let's go. And they walk out of there. Mate, I see them walk out as well. Like I always watch my clients because I'm looking to see if there's any lines that I've left in the hair, really, in the actual natural daylight. But I always watch my clients walk past the window. And those men who come to me like that, the level of confidence they walk out with in comparison to how they walked in is noticeable from miles away.
Yeah, 100%. I knew straight away you'd be able to, you know, relate to that with the people that you speak to. And I guess you hear a lot in the barber's chair as well, because I mean, I've opened up some stuff that I don't think I've even told some people closest to me in the past to barbers and stuff. I don't know what it is about you guys, that buzzy noise. It's
because we're cheaper than therapy, mate. That's what it is.
It's true, yeah. Your rates, but yeah. So again, we sort of said at the start that we were probably going to go off in slightly different directions on this, which is exactly what we wanted to do, really. But you know, one of the things that I really wanted to touch upon is that so many guys will listen to this so far and go, oh, okay, I feel, you know, a little bit less alone now, you know, hearing some of the stuff that they've talked about. You know, it's not just me. But the getting started bit is, of course, the big question. Now, one of the things that I always say is perfection is the enemy of done. We think, oh, what training split should I be doing? Is this the best muscle exercise to grow my legs, or whatever it might be? I read this, I read that. It's like, whoa, just fucking start something.
Just go
and tell for an hour if you need to. Don't worry about what your long head and short heads are and whether you should. Don't worry about what you've read on the internet. Just get in there and enjoy your fucking training. You know, don't try and sprint into sprint. Walk, jog, sprint. Get something started.
Yeah. Absolutely, mate. I say this a lot of the time as well. I get a lot of people coming on board as a new client with me with my online coaching, and they'll be like, I just don't know what to do. And I'm like, well, that's why you're here. Do you know what I mean? That is why you're here. Let's do it. Let's formulate you a program which, let's forget about the result, gets you in the gym. That's it. That's all. All I want you to do today is turn up. That's it. Go in, have a look at the equipment. Literally, go and have a look at the equipment. Just have a little wander around. Yeah. Like, go and get a feel for some stuff. Pick up the lightest weight in there. Then pick up the next lightest weight. Then pick up the next lightest weight until you can't pick one up. Guess what? You just learned something. You just learned what you can and you can't pick up now. Yeah. So it might be these very small incremental steps to success, but when you're first starting out, that's exactly what you need to do.
Yeah, 100%. You know, get whatever music in your ears. We've all got those tracks that will spark the emotion. You know, whatever. What's that?
I said, oh, yes.
Exactly. You know, and it might be something fucking random. You know, I this might sound nuts to you and probably not on the first sets or something when I'm going particularly heavy, but I've had country music in my fucking ears in workouts because I wanted it to be that kind of workout, just zone out, listen to some random shit. But other times it's Rage Against the Machine. It's freaking Limp Bizkit. You know, get whatever you need to get in your ears to just take you to a different place, you know, and just get in there and do something, get something started. Don't worry about what another guy's doing. Don't worry about what your mate's doing. Don't worry about your best friend's sisters, dogs, cats, canaries. Just fucking get in there and do something so you can walk out of that gym and go, Yeah, I did something for me today to serve me, to slap another fucking plate of armor on my suit of armor today. I've done something for me. Next time I'm going to try and do that a bit better, a little bit longer, a bit heavier, whatever it might be. I'm going to fucking better myself. I'm going to rinse and repeat because this feels too fucking good. It's painful sometimes, but the reward afterwards, that's why I'm doing this, you know?
Mate, honestly, you just said something then, and it took me back to one of the best piece of advices that I've ever listened to. And it was live your life as if you are the star of your own movie. Yep. And there is a camera crew following you all the time. I tell you something, when you actually don't just go, oh yeah, that's a good philosophy, adapt that philosophy and go into the gym. Watch how hard you train. Like, watch what difference happens. Like, even if you're a brand new person who's just stepping foot in the gym for the first time, imagine you're being filmed going in that gym for the first time, right? Not to add extra pressures, but you get where I'm going with it. But you're not going to go in there and just half-arse something, are you? Like, you're going to go in and you're going to do the best of what you're currently capable of. You don't need to do what he's doing over there, and you don't need to do what she's doing over there, because chances are they've probably got a lot of experience. Or go to a class so they're telling you what to do. Do you know what I mean? There's so many different options for you to go in there, but be the star of your own movie.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah, it's a great way of looking at things. And also, you know, the final point I want to touch upon is that, and it's easy to think I'm doing this for the muscle, for the low body fat percentage, and, you know, for the holiday to it's easy to think of those, you know, real kind of vanity goals. There's obviously nothing wrong with that at all. But the bigger picture of this, like, you go out for a lunch or a dinner and you indulge in, you know, whatever it might be, the starter, main, dessert, then a few cocktails and a few beers. Now, I know what it was like for me when I wasn't really showing up to very high standards. Every time I did those things, I genuinely was like, okay, well, this is what you need to do to unwind and relax and this, that, and the other. And reality is I was just topping up all the shit that I've been doing for pretty much the rest of the week. Nothing was really special anymore. And I'm not saying you need to deprive yourself and then treat yourself like a cheat meal, you know, but the point is that when you're in social situations, when you have a few too many drinks and you have, the starter, main, dessert, and you look back and go, I fucking deserved it. Like, it's not even that we're earning it. It's that we look back at the week and we go, I've respected my body for the largest percentage this week. I've hydrated. I've put good food in it. I've moved it. I've lifted weights. And this fucking meal feels special every time I have it. And it's those situations that guys often don't think about, what it's like to go out and go, I do not regret any of this. There's nothing about this that makes me go, oh, this is the shit I really need to stop. It changes. Everything changes.
Honestly, brother, what you just said then again, like, perfect, because I view alcohol the same way. So I'm not a big drinker. You'll never catch me really nowadays with it. You'll never catch me with a glass of wine just sat here on a night time for no reason. Or do you know what I mean? Like going out every weekend. Like, it's just not who I am. It's not in my nature.
And that's saying something considering you've got Valhalla a few doors up for you in York.
Mate, literally, I'm on the road with bars everywhere. But no, so what I'll do is every 6 months, sometimes 3 months, I don't put a time frame on it. I just know when it's time. Yep. And I'll go out and I'll have a blowout and I'll come home at 6 o'clock in the morning. And you know what? Feel no regret. And I don't feel bad for it because I don't feel like thinking, but do you know what? If I was going out doing that every single weekend, every single Sunday, I'm going to be that person that sits there going, oh my God, I'm never drinking again.
Yeah.
100%. Like, no, but you are, Sarah. You are going to drink again. You're going to do the exact same thing next weekend. How about let's systematically change the way that you're putting your life together? Yeah. And then in turn, you're going to get such a better feeling for allowing yourself to relax and go out.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. There is so much more to this than just the vanity. It's what it unlocks and the quality of life and the headspace that it offers you. And that was what I kind of really wanted to throw out here, so that hopefully people watching this will go, Jesus, I kind of knew, but I've never stopped and actually taken myself to a situation. What is it like to never have to look at anybody else and go, he's on it, she's on it? It's like judging and comparing myself. And it's like, no, I fucking show up to high standards for me, you know, and that is so powerful. But look, Matt, I won't take up any more of your time, buddy. I really, really appreciate you coming on, dude. Really, really do. See if anybody wants to come and find you for fitness-related stuff. Say that again, fitness-related stuff. Where can they find you? Your Instagram, Facebook, website?
Yeah, bro. Seriously. So just hit me on Instagram. It's just Matt Meadbury on Instagram. That is it. Just come over. We'll have a chat. Equally, Matt, I want to say thank you for having me on, mate. I feel like it's something that more people do need to be talking about. And that's why I was like excited to come and do this with you. And I feel like on a lengthier period of time and a few more footnotes, we could go very, very deep into some of these individual things.
100%. But look, man, thanks again. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll catch up with you soon.
Take care, mate. See you later.